This video is sponsored by AMD. More on that later. What up, world? It's me, Brizzy, and welcome to a comprehensive video on everything you need to be a voice actor. Home studios are needed now more than ever, so let me break down for you the gear, accessories, programs, and otherwise that you need to be a professional voice actor. Grab a beverage, maybe a furry friend, and get cozy because we're about to talk in detail about microphones, pop filters, mic stands, cables, audio interfaces, headphones, recording software, computers, acoustic treatment, and the most important piece of secret gear that every voice actor needs. I'll give recommendations at a beginner, intermediate, and expert level, tell you how much everything costs, and show you each piece of gear that I am currently using. Some of this information on gear that I have never personally used is lifted directly from Crispin Freeman's website, voiceactingmastery.com. It is an amazing website and podcast that I highly recommend to any aspiring voice actor. You may know Crispin as the voice of Winston in Overwatch, among hundreds of other credits. He knows his stuff. So let's get started with microphones. Obviously, we gotta talk about microphones. It's what everyone wants to know about. It's the sexiest part of the whole setup, so I'm gonna do you a favor and address it first. Now, beginner level. These are great options when you are just getting your feet wet, building up your skills, and haven't earned any money yet in voiceover. Great for practicing, passion projects, your first auditions, and maybe even low-paying jobs. My first ever microphone in 2012 was the Blue Snowball. I recorded with this baby on the floor of my 8-square-foot Brooklyn closet. The Snowball is currently $69.99, and I believe my first ever paid job on it was a little radio promo spot that paid $150. The Blue Snowball is a USB mic, meaning you just plug and play. If you do go for this option, I actually recommend you go for the more modern Blue Snowball Ice. It's cheaper, about $49.99, and more streamlined for voiceover so you won't get bogged down with all the polar pattern options. For voiceover, you really just need the cardioid polar pattern, and that's what the Snowball Ice is. The next level up from the Blue Snowball would be the Blue Yeti for $129.99. It's got a headphone jack for direct monitoring, a knob to control input gain, and it is narrower and less awkward than this situation, in my opinion. And overall, just higher quality sound and still a USB mic. These two don't need a separate stand or shock mount or boom arm, they just sit on top of your desktop. They'll be fine for getting started and your first auditions, maybe even some low-level jobs, but nothing ultra-professional or broadcast quality. USB mics inevitably come with a low hiss sound in the background that you will want to remove using a noise removal filter, which we will talk about later. Intermediate level, for when you found yourself auditioning for the big leagues and you have either earned or saved up some money to invest a little more. In 2014, I upgraded from the Blue Snowball to the Rode NT1 for $269.99. This baby was my professional voiceover mic for like 6 years. But this is not a USB mic, this is an XLR mic, meaning the sound quality will be clearer with less background noise, but you will need an XLR cable and an audio interface to use it. We'll talk about that later. And you will still need a stand or a boom arm to hold it up. The next level up from this would probably be the AKG C214 for $359.99. I have never personally used it, but Crispin Freeman highly recommends it, and I would trust him with my life. It is the stripped down but similar sounding version of the popular studio mic, the AKG 414, which costs $1,000. Like the NT1, the C214 is an XLR mic, so it'll need an XLR cable, an audio interface, and a pop filter. Expert level! At this point, you're all in, baby. Voiceover is your career, and you have earned enough to justify investing a hefty sum in one microphone that'll last you many years. You will use this new child of yours to record auditions and high-paying jobs for TV, movies, video games, commercials, and anything else that there may be, assuming you have an equally professionally sound-treated area in which to record. My current microphone. In 2020, when we all figured it was a good time to invest in upgrading our home studio, I finally upgraded to the Neumann TLM 103, which goes for $1,195. But I got mine from eBay for $1,000. Neumann microphones are the most common mics used in professional VO studios. The big boy found in the nicest studios is a Neumann U87, but that guy's like $3,600. And if you have the cash to just drop on that, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, but Crispin says that the TLM 103 uses the same capsule as the U87 with simplified circuitry to achieve the same essence as the U87 for a more reasonable price, whatever that means. All I know is The TLM 103 sounds great, and anyone who is asking for a broadcast quality studio mic is really hoping for something like the TLM 103, so I'm happy with it. Make sure you get the right shock mount for a TLM 103, and make sure you have an XLR cable, an audio interface, and a pop filter, but honestly, if you don't already have those 3 things before purchasing a TLM 103, I feel like you're getting a little overzealous. And of course, the next level up from this, as mentioned, would be the Neumann U87. But like I said, that baby costs like $3,295 sans shock mount, so I'm good. Have fun with that. Travel microphones! I've got one more category of mics to talk about. My travel mic is the Shure MV88 $127.99, and it just plugs right into my iPhone, is so cute and adorable and portable, has this perfect little travel case, and has great recording quality either in my car or with a blanket thrown over my head, so I love him. Look at him. He's so cute. Look at this little guy. I wouldn't record any jobs on this, but it really comes in clutch for recording auditions when you're either traveling or on the go. The travel mic Crispin uses is the Shure MV51, $179, and that one seems to be a little bit higher quality than the MV88. He also recommends it as a potential beginner mic, so you could potentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that front. For Android, you'll want the MV51 so you can plug it into your computer or get a little lightning to USB-C adapter to plug it into your phone. And I mean, look, it's pretty cute, like, no shame to the 51, but I just feel like the MV58 is so much cuter and smaller and portable and lovely, and I just look at him. I love him so much. Pop filters. Essentially, any microphone you use will need a pop filter. Without one, your plosives, your patacatas, could get that air popping sound or even damage a sensitive diaphragm within the microphone, and you don't want that, so let's just put that back. The good news is most any pop filter is a good one, and they are not expensive. The Aokio pop filter is $26.99, but at least for now, it looks like you can find it for just $10.99, and you can probably find one on eBay for just $7 or $8. I am currently using the Stedman Pro Screen XL, which is $74.99, and I don't know why. I don't know why I got this. Is so expensive, so unnecessary. I think I just got overexcited in 2020 when I was upgrading everything, and I just wanted everything to be fancy, so here we are. I don't know. I fell for it. I'm a doofus. This is totally unnecessary, but it's pretty. I like it. I'm just saying that a $10 pop filter will work just fine. Microphone stands. Unless you're using a mic that comes with a built-in stand like a Snowball or a Yeti, you will need something to hold that baby aloft. Make sure to find out if your microphone needs a shock mount or if it comes with it. That's the little suspension basket thing that the mic floats in that connects to the stand. Some microphones might need a specific shock mount to fit it, so it's not a bad idea to get them as a package deal if you have the option. Once you've got your mic floating aloft, you'll need to decide if you want a standing mic stand, a desktop mic stand, or a boom arm. If you prefer to stand for your recordings, it helps you keep your energy up, you get to move all around, then maybe you'll prefer a standing mic stand. Probably the straight up kind rather than the bent over boom army kind. Crispin recommends the MS7201B, which is $31.95. And I don't know, it looks good to me. It's a mic stand. It doesn't, the brand doesn't matter as long as it's a weighted mic stand with a little standard screw-on thing at the top, like, it works. If you prefer to sit and have the mic sit directly on your desktop, find a shorter desktop version like the Gator Frameworks for $20.99 or whatever this is that I got off eBay for probably like $10. Like, again, the brand doesn't matter. Just find something cheap and good and standard and it works. My preferred stand method is the desk-mounted boom arm, because you could go from sitting and cozy and comfy to standing in like a second. You can get it wherever you want it, so it's flexible. Currently, I am using the Blue Compass, which is $99.99. Cables! If you're using a USB mic, it should come with a cable to plug into your computer and you're good to go. If you're using an XLR mic, you'll need...
That's right! An XLR cable! Muy bien!
The length will depend on how far your microphone is going to be from your audio interface, but for most people, 6 feet, 10 feet should be fine. You can grab one for about $10, or you can see if your microphone or your mic stand or your audio interface comes with one. Audio interface. XLR mics cannot send their analog recordings through an XLR cable directly into your computer. They must first go through an audio interface with a preamp to power up the sound and convert it to digital before sending it to your computer via USB or Thunderbolt. The audio interface I have used for 8 years straight now. I think it is the only thing in my voiceover setup that I have used for 8 years straight now is the Focusrite Scarlett Solo first generation, which right now is $104.95. It's simple, it's easy to use, and it'll last you for years and years, but it is 2022, so might as well get the third generation version. It's pretty much the same, but probably newer and better for $109.99 if you can spare the extra $5. You probably don't need anything fancier, but if you do want something fancier, Crispin recommends either the Apollo Twin X Duo for Thunderbolt 3 connections, which is $900, or the Apollo Twin Mark II Duo for Thunderbolt 2 connections for $775. According to Crispin, the Apollo Twin has ultra pristine preamps with amazing headroom and low noise. And that's my impression of Crispin, and a bunch of other fancy sounding tech things involving plugins and circuitry and stuff I don't understand. But to use one, you will either need a Thunderbolt 3 or 2 connection, depending on which one you get. For now, I think the Focusrite that I've been using for 8 years is just fine. Maybe I'll use it for another 8 years, who knows? Headphones! Some voice actors don't like hearing themselves through the direct monitor of their headphones, but sometimes, especially if you're on a call with a team, you're gonna have to wear them anyways, so you can do the classic one ear off method so that you can hear yourself in the real world, but also hear everything that you need to hear through this ear on the computer. Regardless, ideally you are going to want over-the-ear closed-back headphones to prevent as much sound leaking from the headphones into your recording as possible. For beginners! For the life of me, I cannot remember or find what headphones I used first for voiceover. For all I know, it was just like standard earbuds or something awful like that, but I don't know, it worked for me, whatever it was. And for practice and just getting started, that's probably fine, but I don't recommend in the long run. For beginners, Crispin recommends the on-ear Sennheiser HD 202s, which I think may be discontinued, but it looks like you can find them on eBay for $20 to $30. For the next level up, he recommends the AKG K240s for $79.99, which are over-ear headphones, so they will be much more comfortable over a long period of time. But they are semi-open back, so you don't want your volume to be too high so that it leaks through to the recording, but just don't crank your volume and it should be fine. Expert level! That's right, I skipped intermediate. Kind of. Maybe the AKG one is intermediate. I don't know, who cares? Who's keeping count? Headphones, generally speaking, are headphones. If you can hear clearly, if they aren't utter torture for your ears or your head, and the sound isn't leaking profusely into your recording, it's probably fine. You don't need to break the bank on headphones. But if you want something nice, I love my Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro's 32 ohm version for $134.95. There was no way I was memorizing that. The gray felty cups are so comfy and cute, and they just feel so luxe. They are over ear, and I have large ears, and they are closed back so they don't leak sound unless you really pump the volume, and they sound great, so big recommend. There are other ohm versions, 16, 80, 250, don't worry about that. Ohms are how you measure impedance, meaning the amount of resistance to the electric current transmitted by the amplifier, and it's complicated. You don't need to learn about it, it's fine. Hey, Editing Brizzy here. Upon further inspection, I don't know what I'm talking about. These are 80 ohms. It says right there. I don't know why I thought I had 32 or 34 or whatever I said, but I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. A slightly cheaper option that Crispin recommends is the Sony MDR 7506 for $99.99, and is probably the most popular headphones used in Hollywood productions. It's gotta be the one I see most frequently in professional recording studios. Computer! Obviously, you'll need a computer to record on, edit, communicate with clients, and probably read your script. If you want to opt for a full desktop PC, you'll have to wire the case to sit outside of the booth so that it doesn't make noise, so I recommend a nice, client laptop instead. Currently, I am using the Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X, which brings us to the sponsor of today's video, AMD. AMD is here to bring you pure, portable power to create. Here's 3 reasons the Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X is a great laptop choice for any creative. Number 1. You get untethered creation. Enjoy the freedom to create and entertain unplugged. Advanced Ryzen CPU Zen 3 processor technology and smart battery management features are designed to deliver incredible battery life for the ultimate convenience off the grid. And it's thin, light, and comfortable, starting at just 3.5 pounds. So if I'm tired after recording auditions all day and want a break from the stuffy booth, I can unplug my laptop and take it to the park to edit my audition. That's the power of AMD Ryzen 6000 series processors, with tons of memory and plenty of storage. Number 2, you can awaken pure visuals. See a purer, clearer picture of your imagined worlds on the Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X's 3K 120Hz pure sight display with optional touch support. Full color spectrum and hardware calibrated for true-to-life colors, and a TUV hardware low blue light certification helps prevent straining your eyes, so it's great for gaming. And number 3, it's Windows 11 ready. Find AMD Ryzen 6000 series processors powering the latest Windows PCs. AMD Ryzen 6000 series processors now have more on-chip memory, are faster and incredibly efficient, allowing you the freedom to work, play, create, and entertain faster from anywhere. And on top of all that, for voiceover, it's quiet as a mouse. Check out the Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X for yourself by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you, AMD, for sponsoring the channel. And now, back to other important voiceover gear. Internet! Along with the computer, you will obviously need an internet connection. If you're recording a job directly with a client, they're probably going to want you to have a direct Ethernet cord connection rather than Wi-Fi, just to reduce the chance of any connection hiccups. I have a USB-C to Ethernet connector here for my Lenovo for just that reason. Recording software! To record and edit auditions and jobs, you will need some kind of recording software. Since the very beginning, I have been using Audacity because it is free for Mac and PC users, and it's super simple and easy to use, and now I'm just used to it. It does everything I need, which is typically just cutting out clips and using the normalize or noise removal filter unless the client wants the raw recording. Other options which should work just fine would be Apple's GarageBand, Adobe Audition, or Reaper. It's possible a client will ask you to use specifically something like Logic Pro or Pro Tools, but that's only happened to me once, where the client took over control of my computer remotely to use I think it was Pro Tools, and I just used the trial version and it worked fine. So it's never come up again, so I wouldn't worry about it. You may also end up needing remote recording software, which is different. In the world of home studio job recordings, you may be asked if you have ISDN or Source Connect, which allow you to transmit and receive high-quality audio remotely. So the director on the other end can record you remotely and hear exactly what you're gonna sound like and save the file on their end. You literally won't have the file on your computer. They are recording it, but you're on your computer, but they save it. It's crazy. ISDN is the more old school version involving digital telephone connections. I wouldn't worry about that. I feel like that's getting kind of outdated. But Source Connect Standard, which is what I use and what is often asked for, is a $35 a month subscription with a $75 startup fee. So just don't worry about it until you've booked a job that wants you to use it. Just don't, save your money until you need it. And as a voice actor, you probably won't ever need Source Connect Pro, which is $105 a month, so don't even worry about that. I don't even know what that's for. Why? $105 a month? What? Sound treatment. You have the best microphone, audio interface, recording software, and computer in the world. But it is useless if you don't have a good place to record. The good news is just about anyone can put together something workable for next to nothing. The bad news is it probably won't be very pretty or comfortable. Here are your options. Beginners. When I first got started with my Blue Snowball, I was recording sitting on the floor of my closet. We talked about that. And today, I'm still recording in my closet. It's just a much bigger, nicer, well-treated closet. Closets are your best friend, even if you came out of it a long time ago. Hanging clothes are great sound absorption tools, and there are no windows and very few blank walls. A great option for cheap sound treatment is moving blankets. You can get a pack of 6 for $39.20. Hang them from walls, drape them over doors, or even build your own whole personal voiceover booth using PVC pipes and moving blankets. The blanket fort skills you honed as a child will not go to waste. Now, shortly after getting started, I got a Portabooth Pro for $389.99, and while this can certainly help isolate a microphone and sounds better than no treatment whatsoever, I don't particularly recommend it. It's just super bulky and awkward and really hard to face a mic and recite your lines while having access to reading your lines at the same time. It's constantly flopping over and collapsing on itself, and it's hard to get it to hang in the air if you want to do a standing mic thing. It's hard to get it to suspend from there because it's heavy and just, it's really awkward. So I don't recommend dropping almost $400 when you could make something sound just as good with a blanket fort for a fraction of the price. Also more fun. The next level up from a blanket fort is acoustic foam. Crispin and I recommend the brand Auralex, though at $154.99 for a 24-pack, the price can add up very quickly. Just please don't use adhesive spray to stick them to your walls. Please don't make the same mistake I did unless you don't care if you utterly ruin your walls, in which case, go wild. But command strips and thumbtacks work wonders even if you have to reapply some every year or two. The most important areas of your recording studio to treat are the areas directly behind and to the sides of your microphone. When I'm recording, I'm actually usually facing this way into the corner with all the foam. Along with all the products, I will be linking below an educational guide from Auralex on acoustic foam treatment. Sound deadening with foam is crucial, but just as important is sound isolation from the outside world. Unfortunately, acoustic foam is not a miracle worker, and no matter how much foam you pile up, your space will not necessarily be soundproof. So any loud nearby yard work or neighbors or city sounds may eke through. But that's just something we all gotta do our best to work around. Unless you got the big bucks to invest in a professionally crafted sound isolation vocal booth, or the carpentry skills to soundproof your area yourself, but that is a whole other beast entirely. Let's talk about voice booths. Crispin recommends whisperroom.com and vocalbooth.com, which can range from $5,000 to like $11,000 and beyond, depending how big and soundproof you want it to be. And finally, the most important thing a voice actor can possibly have in their arsenal. More important than the booth, more important than the microphone, more important than anything, is acting skills. You saw it coming, right? Come on. Whether you are born with it, formally trained for it, or learn through experience, every voice actor must know how to act, or you're not gonna get very far. You've heard it over and over from me and others, but again, it bears repeating. Don't put so much focus on the gear that you are forgetting what this is all really about. Prioritize investing in your craft before investing in your gear. And that's it. That is everything you need to be a voice actor. Thank you so much for listening to this long, overly detailed video. I hope it helped. Please leave a comment below if you have any piece of VO gear that you swear by in your setup, and like and comment to appease the algorithm gods. And if you haven't already, subscribe. You made it this far, you might as well. And I'll see you next time with a brand new video.